Whoa! The 10 biggest freaks of nature in NFL history. Guys, I've already checked out the 10 biggest freaks of nature currently in the NFL. I'll put the link down in the description for you to check out if you haven't checked it out already. I'm hoping that some players that I've already checked out will be in this list. That is my main hope in this video. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it.
The NFL is filled with some of the world's most explosive and physically gifted athletes. Even in the land of titans, some players have made us reimagine what we thought was humanly possible. These players have size, strength, and speed combinations that look like they were made in a laboratory. Today, we have the 10 biggest freaks of nature in NFL history.
Okay, let's see who are those.
Bo Jackson.
Whoa!
There was nobody like this.
I've checked him out before.
Royals GM Art Stewart once said, "You have to rub your eyes to believe what you're seeing."
I mean, I'm kind of not surprised because Bo, he was one of the first guys that I was told to check out on this channel, and he didn't disappoint one bit. So I'm not really surprised. But I'm not sure whether this is arranged in order or whether it's just random, because I'm surprised that Bo Jackson is number 10. But let's see the rest of it.
The legend of Bo Jackson is best told through quotes of those that saw the phenomenon firsthand. His folklore grows with every story. More and more jaw-dropping fables have come out throughout the years. Frank White said that he really did play baseball with Superman. After winning a Heisman and starring in 3 sports at Auburn, Bo entered the NFL draft. Now the biggest urban legend in NFL history, Jackson ran a 40-yard dash in a scout-clocked 4.12 seconds.
I remember I was told that in the video.
It's because the fastest time ever clocked at the NFL Combine is 4.22 seconds. Bo smashed that time by nearly a tenth of a second. Along with his mythical athletic feats, Nike helped turn Bo Jackson into a sports megastar. And the slogan, "Bo Knows," transcended into a pop culture phenomenon.
Bo knows.
Bo starred in both football and baseball. Still the only person to be both an NFL and MLB All-Star. There has never been an athlete able to hit 500-foot home runs and bust 90-yard plus.
Imagine being an all-star in both sports. It's a really incredible feat if you think about it. It's a really, really incredible feat. By the way, guys, I'm a functional alcoholic. Don't worry about it. I'm going to. My mind is still here despite my drinking. I'm a very, very functional alcoholic. I actually take some alcohol at work to, mask my, depression. I don't want to use the word depression because I'm not really depressed, but, to mask my current discontents about the situation that I currently am in my life. So, if you want to cheer me up, like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel. I'll really be grateful. Also, by liking the video, you push this video out to more people, get me more views. I could earn some money that I can be able to afford better drinks than this. This drink is very, very bad because it's cheap. Drinks are fucking expensive now. So I have to buy probably the cheapest one possible. And the cheapest ones I know are always kind of terrible, but it's something that I like doing. So help me out by hitting that like button. Thanks.
NFL and MLB All-Star. There has never been an athlete able to hit 500-foot home runs and bust 90-yard plus touchdowns other than Bo, even though his career was abruptly shortened by a hip injury.
Yeah, I remember that.
And everybody else knows that there will never be anybody like Bo. Julius Peppers. The Wilson,
I've never heard of this guy.
A 3-sport star in high school, lettering in football, basketball, and track. Unblockable at defensive end. Pep also played running back in high school, scoring 46 touchdowns in his career. Peppers attended the University of North Carolina and was selected as a freshman All-American. The greatest testament to Peppers' athleticism was walking on to the legendary UNC basketball team while still dominating on the football field.
Wow.
Julius Peppers is one of 2 people to
Wait. I think I've heard his name before. I've heard his name before. Seeing that face now, I actually think I've seen that face in the NBA before. I don't know. Maybe it was a clip on YouTube. I don't know. Like you guys know, I'm a fan of the NBA, so I follow the NBA. can't remember where I saw this guy. I think it was just a clip on YouTube. But it was in basketball, not in NFL. Okay, that is interesting.
AA Final Four and a Super Bowl. Peppers was a large man, measuring in at 6'7" and weighing 285 pounds. Drafted by the Carolina Panthers, quarterback Derek Anderson was quoted as saying, "Julius might be the biggest person I've ever seen. I think God really built him like this. Perfect specimen," and said, "Here, don't mess
That is
it up.
incredible.
You don't make this list by
280.
just being big," however. Julius ran a ridiculous 4.7 40-yard dash at the combine. As soon as he arrived
What
in
the hell?
NFL, Peppers produced a Rookie of the Year season, notching multiple 3-sack games. In one of his greatest plays ever, Julius Peppers bent what was imaginable, catching Joey Galloway from behind in a full sprint. Not only did Peppers run stride for stride with a receiver, he ran with the fastest receiver in the NFL. Peppers was an anomaly and is the only player in NFL history to record 100 sacks and 10 interceptions in a career. Players rave about Peppers' ability to produce late into his career. He just seems to be ageless. Peppers dominated the game with such mobility and size, his name became synonymous with freak of nature. Randy Moss. No player on this list struck fear into the opposition.
Randy Moss, yeah, I think you guys told me to check him out, but I do polls on NFL players. I think I'll put him in the next poll. I put him before in a poll, but he didn't make it to the top 3, so he found his way out of the list totally. I think I'll put him again. Let's see if the list is going to, because let's see how athletic he
Moss
is.
jumped over defenders to pull down passes and effortlessly glided past defenders on his way to the end zone. When asked who most resembles his game, Moss replied with, "Nobody." It's the correct response. Leading up to the draft, Randy posted one of the most stunning workouts of all time, walking off to a collective jaw drop from the crowd. Moss showed off 4.2 speed, combined with a 50-inch vertical at 6'4", slipping to 21st overall pick in the 1998 draft. Randy Moss didn't need time to groom, immediately making everybody pay for passing on him. His first game was his first of 39 multi-touchdown games. It wouldn't take long before defensive backs were giving Moss miles of space at the line of scrimmage, in fear he would run past them like they were standing still. His 17 touchdowns as a rookie is still an NFL record. His friend coined a phrase heard at every playground: "You got mossed." You'd only hear that when a player would out-muscle a catch.
That is nice. That is nice.
Moss
You got mossed, man.
Each pluck the ball at the highest point individually, a scoring machine. Moss was the leading receiver for 2 of the greatest offenses of all time, the 1998 Vikings and the 2011 Patriots. Bob Hood, his head coach at Marshall.
Immediately I heard 2 of the greatest. I started thinking of Tom Brady. Immediately, just started thinking of Tom Brady. And I'm not surprised. Maybe they just mentioned the Patriots. I'm like, okay, whatever. I knew that.
Said, however fast you think he is, he's faster than that. Randy knew he was the best athlete on the field, once telling his QB, "Just throw it above his head. He can't jump with me." Moss even had a signature shoe line with Jordan called the Super Freaks. Fitting. Larry Allen. The strongest NFL player ever. Larry Allen was an unknown out of Sonoma.
Is that definitive?
Allen dominated Division II football with legendary stories.
This guy looks fat though.
Defenders unconscious with his blocks, leveling any player in his way.
Is he a linebacker?
The NFL draft. Many pundits scoffed at these tales, saying his success was due to the lack of competition he faced. At 6,
you guys, I asked that question because you guys told me linebackers are like the guys that block the offensive lines. Look at me, I'm speaking American football terms. Wow, okay. I think it's the alcohol talking. What the hell? Okay. So is he a linebacker? Tell me that in the comments.
325 pounds. Allen possessed nimble feet and versatility to succeed at all 5 offensive line positions. Drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, Allen was forced into the starting lineup because of injury and never looked back. Allen became arguably the greatest offensive lineman in NFL history, a dominant force unlike anything the league has ever seen. Larry Allen was able to bench press over 700 pounds and squat 900. In one of the most
700
ludicrous
pounds
performances, 36-year-old Larry Allen did 4 43 reps of 225 on the bench press in a Pro Bowl skills challenge, earning him the crown of NFL's
Damn.
strongest man. But he wasn't only just big and strong. In a playoff game,
He was
Allen
fast
ran
as
down
well.
a would-be pick six from a linebacker. Afterwards,
people are
nobody
freaks,
was
man.
talking about the magnitude of the play, but instead, Allen's absurd athleticism. There aren't
What
stats
the
that
hell?
compare offensive linemen, but there isn't any doubt
Okay,
the impact
offensive
that Larry
lineman.
Allen had in his career.
Oh, okay, not
riding a rough
linebacker.
shot over any defender he went against.
Who is a linebacker actually? Guys, give me an example of a linebacker. I'll put him in the next poll. Because I would like to see, because every time I see a player, like the first time I saw Christian Okoye, you know, I was excited and he was looking like a beast. So in my mind, I was now assuming that he was a linebacker. So who are these linebackers? Who are these guys? They're probably not stars at all, I guess, right? They're not stars. Maybe that is why people don't really think of them. Well, they're almost like, will I say, defensive midfielders in soccer. Maybe like they actually do important jobs, but because of the fact that their jobs are not sexy, nobody really cares. Is that the case? Because I'm surprised that every time I see someone that looks supposed to look like a linebacker, I haven't. I'm still proven wrong. I'm actually surprised by that. So, guys, give me an example of a linebacker down in the comments. Let me see who he could be. At least I'll put him in the poll so that you guys can decide if the person should be in the poll or not. So that you guys can decide if I should check out the person or not. Wow. Okay. He wasn't a linebacker, but he looks like a linebacker. I'm not trying to fat shame him, though.
Sanders.
Wow, okay.
Dion, or prime time, if you prefer.
Okay, I've checked him out
He's the
before.
most gifted player on the field. Sanders played for 9 different professional sports teams across 2 different sports, and is the only player to play in both a World Series and a Super Bowl. FSU coach Bobby Bowden refers to prime as the measuring stick for athletic ability. Sanders lettered in track, football, and baseball during his time with FSU. Sanders is not as physically imposing as others on this list, but not many come close to the endless things Dion could do. Dion moved with world-class track speed and could
I remember that.
change direction on a whim. Sanders shut down prolific receivers every week. People didn't realize that he didn't go to one NFL training camp in his first 6 seasons because it was baseball season. In 1996, Sanders became the first modern player to be a starter on both sides of the ball, playing receiver for the Dallas Cowboys as well. Sanders is one of 2 people to score a touchdown 6 different ways. Dion doubled as a kick returner. It was so
Score a
dangerous.
touchdown 6 different ways. What does that mean? You know, I'm still learning this stuff, so I don't really know what that means. Score a touchdown. It's not just to drop the ball at the end zone. What else? If you guys can explain it down in the comments, I don't know whether that is possible, but you can try.
The league colluded to never kick to him again. Another fabled story of the NFL. Sanders showed up to the combine to run the 40, and immediately after got a ride back to the airport, knowing he cemented his spot. There may be others on the list, but there can only be one primetime. Calvin Johnson.
Okay.
While many people didn't get to
Okay.
see
This
what
guy won the last poll I just did. So after the next NFL video I'm doing, probably it's going to be about him.
player Calvin Johnson was going to be in college. In an offense that rarely passes, the NFL knew what was coming. Johnson has an athletic profile that was aptly described by his nickname, Megatron.
Oh,
He looked
Megatron.
inhuman, like the bad guy in a scary movie. Most 6'5", 240-pound receivers built their game around boxing out opponents at the catch point to secure passes. But Calvin Johnson regularly blew by secondaries with 4.3 speed. Calvin is still the only 6'5" player to run under 4.4 at the combine. Scout Gil Brandt claimed he had the best broad jump he's ever seen. Almost 12 feet. Defenders had no chance in covering Johnson's freakish blend of length and speed. Calvin is in the conversation of the greatest receivers ever, even though he retired at age 30 after just 9 seasons.
Wow.
One particular season
Wow.
in 2012.
That shows how great he was in his prime. I mean, like, people always ask, especially in soccer, people always ask, like, would you rather have a very, very long career or a short career that you are, like, the undisputed whatever in your prime. I'll prefer to be the undisputed whatever in my prime than some guy that was great, but part of the reason why, part of what makes me great is because I played for a long time. Like, I wouldn't like that. And it's one of the things, like, especially with Tom Brady, that chose football over his marriage. I know some people have different opinions about that, but personally, I felt that was a very terrible decision because you are 40-something years old, man. What are you still doing? You are widely regarded as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, probably the greatest. So what are you still doing? If that is all your wife needs from you, and I'm not even a simp. I'm not like a simp kind of guy that does whatever a woman says I should do. But if you are 40-something years old, I think it's time. It's time to retire. Personally, that's just my opinion, though. I know some people that maybe Tom Brady fans may think otherwise, but that's just what I feel about it.
Johnson shattered the single-season receiving record by over 100 yards. Teams were doubling and even triple covering Johnson in an offense without many other threats, and it didn't matter. Calvin Johnson was a monster and an aberration, combining
Aberration.
physical traits.
Was he that athletic? The way this guy is talking about him, like,
an acre of him. Injuries and
I'll check him out soon,
relationships shortened Calvin's career.
That is sad, though.
Miraculous moments. Herschel Walker, the University of Georgia running back, is recognized as one of the most dominant college.
You guys know American politics is so loud. People talk about American politics all over, like, because of the fact that I'm doing YouTube, so I see some news about US stuff. Herschel Walker, is he not a politician now? I think I saw some news about the guy. Is it the person I'm thinking of? Herschel Walker, yeah, I think, yeah. The news I saw involved his son. I didn't look into it because it wasn't really a concern of mine, but it involved his son. If I'm right, tell me down in the comments. I think so. Please tell me down in the comments. I want to feel proud of myself.
Football players ever, and his story to success is just as interesting. Growing up poor without access to weights, Walker would do push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, and dips at the house. Pretty typical, except he did them in sets of thousands.
Whoa!
He was the pinnacle of athletics in Georgia, winning 4 state championships in track, including
these guys are freaks, man.
He was the fastest and the strongest person around. As soon as he arrived at UGA, he became the centerpiece of their football program. Defenders were unable to bring Walker to the ground, possessing the ability to bounce off would-be tacklers and track speed to leave defenders in his dust. After 3 Heisman-worthy seasons, Walker won it in his junior season. He amassed over 50 touchdowns in 3 years, going pro into the upstart USFL. Walker was the best player by a large amount during its 3-year existence. Once the USFL folded, Walker moved on to the Dallas Cowboys.
He's the guy. He resembles him.
He didn't have as much success in the NFL.
Resembles his son, actually.
Unprecedented running back longevity, playing another 12 seasons. During that span,
I didn't realize it was that athletic.
Walker retired the only player to get 4,000 yards 3 different ways: running, receiving, and returning. As if the beating he took in the NFL wasn't enough, at age 48, Walker pursued a career in the MMA. He went on to fight 2 fights and won them both. A true testament to his physical freakiness.
What the hell?
Jim Brown. Most people know who Cleveland legend Jim Brown is, arguably the greatest football player of all time.
Wow.
But what most people don't know is he's also one of the greatest lacrosse players to ever live, saying himself that he was probably better at lacrosse than football. Brown lettered in 6 sports in high school and 4 sports at Syracuse, before going on to be a 3-time NFL MVP and the only player to average 100 yards rushing in his career. Brown still holds the record for most 3-touchdown and 4-touchdown games in NFL history. Unable to be brought down and unwilling to step out of bounds, Jim Brown reset every standing NFL record in 9 short seasons. Ray Lewis called him the most dominant player to ever step on any field. Master of the fly sweep, Brown could reverse field and run away from opponents, sidestep would-be tacklers, or physically impose his will in head-on collisions. Marcus Allen once said, "Forget running backs. It's like every player is measured against Jim Brown."
Wow.
Because he was the touchdown, the measuring stick. He was the greatest player that ever
lived. I think from what I'm seeing so far, I used to think that quarterbacks was the most loaded position in American football, like in terms of legends. Because while I wasn't following the sport at all, I used to hear Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, and so on and so on. Lots of people. But in terms of running backs, I never really heard of that many people. You know what I'm saying? So, but from what I'm seeing, it seems running back, that position is also loaded as well. Probably even more loaded than quarterbacks. You guys, if I'm right, tell me down in the comments, because like I've been seeing so many players so far that they rate as one of the greatest, and they're all running backs. So I think it's actually very loaded as well. I think so.
Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe.
Thorpe is the pioneer athlete.
I've never heard of
The
this
modern
name before
history of
at all.
athletics begins with Thorpe. Not only a superstar NFL player, you can name the sport, and Jim Thorpe was the best at it from 1910 to the 1930s.
This one is
an
too long
Olympic
ago.
event that encompasses 10 different competitions all rolled into one. Created in 1911, Thorpe was the first person to ever receive gold at the event.
Wow!
The ability to win multiple skill-specific Olympic medals and dominate at the NFL level is deserving of this list already. But Thorpe did it without training, as he interchanged between the MLB and football. Former President Dwight Eisenhower broke a huge secret about Thorpe. He never practiced. He showed up and did things better than everybody else in his first time. Thorpe won at
Is that possible, really?
including World Ballroom Dancing Championships. To understand his worth to football, look no further than the award given to the best college defensive back in the country each year, which is appropriately named the Jim Thorpe Award. A Native American from Oklahoma, the legend of Jim Thorpe has grown through generations. Because of his impact and excellence during the infancy of modern-day athletics, Thorpe became a legend whose tale will be told for years to come. Vernon Davis. For a long time, tight ends in the NFL were thought of as an extension of the offensive line. Utility blockers that played their role within the offense. Once the likes of Tony Gonzalez and Kellen Winslow Sr. infiltrated the NFL as receiving threats, it was only a matter of time before someone like Vernon Davis came along. Davis absolutely dominated on the field at Maryland, while also showing his physical prowess. But before Davis left Maryland, he had set a school strength record for tight ends in bench press, squat, and power clean.
Wow.
But Davis didn't show what he was truly capable of until the NFL Combine. Vernon Davis wowed teams, clocking under 4.4 on the 40, leaping over 40 inches.
When I see all these kind of human beings, I feel so inferior. I feel so inferior. Most people are way behind all these kind of guys in terms of athleticism. It's actually embarrassing if you think about it. How more athletic these people are compared to normal human beings. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. And sometimes I just look at this like, what the hell?
Broad jumping nearly 11 feet, 6'3" and over 250 pounds. Davis's combine numbers were the only thing people talked about through draft night. He was drafted 6th overall by the San Francisco 49ers. 2009 was Vernon's breakout
inhuman.
year, where he tied the season record for touchdown receptions by a tight end with 13. Davis was too fast, and he had too much leaping ability for linebackers, and was far too big and strong for defensive backs to handle at the catch point. Davis moved and caught the ball like a wide receiver, but possessed offensive lineman power. In Davis's illustrious career, he set the playoff tight end single-game receiving record, won a Super Bowl with the Broncos, and was named to an All-Pro team. There may never be a tight end with Vernon Davis's physical prowess and athletic ability again.
Wow, these guys are inhuman. They're really inhuman. I mean, look at some of these people. It's almost like, actually, I think American football is just a game for athletic freaks. That is just it. I mean, like, I believe that if you're an athletic freak, like you have the height at least 6'2", 6'3", and you're an athletic freak and you don't go into American football, I think you're wasting your talent. That's just how I feel about it. You are wasting it. Period. That's just it. That's just how I feel about it. At least some other sports, and I'm not trying to say that the sport does not require any skill whatsoever, but I think there's a threshold. The threshold for it compared to like sports like basketball or soccer, the threshold, if you're athletic and you're tall, I think at least there's some like you may not be able to play quarterback because you maybe don't, but I think there's some positions that you can be able to, even if you are not great, you should be at least you'll be good enough to be in the squad and earn some few millions or so, which is better than what I think 90% of people are earning in the world. So that's what I would do anyway if I were 6'3", 260 with lean muscles. That's what I would have been doing. Now, anyway, guys, that was a nice video. I've been meaning to watch that video because it was recommended to me for a long time ago. When I think couple of weeks after I watched the biggest freaks of nature currently in the NFL. So I'm glad that I've been able to get this one over with. If you love this reaction, please hit that like button. It really helps me, guys. It really helps me. And the more you hit this button, the more it will encourage me and it will push these videos to more people. If you don't like the video will just stay in this channel. It won't move out. Guys, please help me out. Hit that like button. Thank you for watching. See you next time.